6 minutes after 8 o'clock exactly on this Monday morning, the 16th of September 2023. We're well into the season of spring, and here in Gauteng province, we've been promised rain today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Inshallah, it is much needed, and inshallah, we will get much relief from the rain that has been promised by the weather people. But we do know that all of that is only possible through the qudrat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But let's get going to our first interview. Zakira Bhika, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program. And we understand that you're just back from a trip to Al-Aqsa. All I can say is that you're one brave lady, alhamdulillah. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's always such a pleasure and honor to be on Salam Media, Julie, and it's so nice to be chatting to you again. And alhamdulillah, we've got back. It's not, I don't think it's about bravery like the rain. I think it's just all about the qudrat of Allah.
Subhanallah. So tell me, how big was your group? When did you go? And what were your expectations? I know we're going to talk about controversy around your trip, but also before having departed South Africa, your expectations of this Mubarak trip.
Alhamdulillah, we didn't go with the group at all. We went as a family, just the four of us.
Wow.
We were intending to do a 3 haram tour. So we went initially to Medina, which was absolutely wonderful, as always, for everybody. And then we did a Jummah in Medina, and then we went to Mecca, and we had a wonderful time in Mecca. Mecca obviously is not like Medina, the calmness and the serenity, and you immediately just feel the adjustment instantly when you get to Mecca. And we did a Jummah in Mecca as well, and then we left for Aqsa with the intention to do a Jummah in Aqsa as well. So the trip in itself was a 3 haram trip. We didn't go with the trip with a group. We went just as a family, solo. Our expectations, obviously, we had great expectations about. I'm not going to talk now about Medina and Makkah. I'm going to talk solely about Aqsa. We had great expectations because the last time that we had a full vision of South Africans being, or full story of the South Africans being in Aqsa was in the Mubarak month of Ramadan. And then, we didn't hear any info coming out about South Africans going into, Aqsa and their stories. So we didn't go in with any expectations, but we didn't expect what really happened to us when we got there. So Julie, on the 8th of September, we left from Mecca going into Jordan and going straight with our agent, going straight to Palestine. So as we got off the train and got into Jordan, we left. Our agent picked us up, and we left for the border, LNB border, on the 8th of September. And at the same time that we were en route to the LNB border, the shootout happened with the Jordanian, where a Jordanian ordinary citizen opened fire at the LNB border.
Is this the incident where a Turkish American lady was killed? Was that the time you were there? No,
not that. So the 8th was when a Jordanian truck driver drove up, just an ordinary citizen drove up to the guards at the Allenby border and opened fire, and he killed 3 soldiers, and he was then martyred and shuhada. And that was the exact timing that we were en route to the specific border. But our agent at that time got the news, and we had to turn around and get back to Jordan to safety. So this
So
all.
are you saying, so when that incident happened, obviously the border was closed and possibly absolutely overcrowded, or IDF soldiers must have uh, taken over that border completely and just shut off all access to that area.
Exactly, exactly. So just before we reached the border, we had then got intel that this had just transpired, and we must go back to safety immediately. So then
How
we
far, Zakira, can I ask you? I'm sorry for the interruptions, but now my mind is buzzing with a whole host of questions. How far how far was your base in Lebanon to the Allenby border? Allenby
so
border was a couple of hours or a
no,
short
so
ride?
we weren't in Lebanon. We were in Amman. We were in
Okay,
Amman. So from Amman to the LNB border is like an hour's drive, 45 minutes to an hour's drive. So we
okay,
were like maybe 30 minutes into the journey.
okay.
We were like, so we had like 15 minutes to get to that now incident where all the chaos was. And we had turned around, and now we had to go back to Amman and get accommodation, and now stay the night in Amman, and wait for now further instructions, because
What
they
happened
were
next?
once they closed the border, they said indefinitely they're closing the border. So we made Mashura as a family, and we said, look, our intention was to come to Aqsa. Our intention was not now to do tours of Jordan and so forth. So we made Mashura as a family that we were now going to come back to South Africa, because they had said that the border would be closed indefinitely. So Julia, I have to tell you this one thing about the Israelis. They have total control over everything. They close things when they want to. They open things when they want to. There's no systematic control. They might say the border is open up until 6, but if they feel that they want to close it at 4, Bismillah, they close it.
Okay,
So
so
that
you were totally at, well, not only you, but everyone, the Palestinians and visitors alike, are totally at the mercy of the whim of the Israelis.
absolutely, absolutely. So we go back to Amman, and it's now like about 6 or 7 o'clock, because now the coming back trip from the border was now very very traumatic, because then their security is heightened. Then that every kilometer you drive, they checking and they want passports, and so forth. So once their security is heightened, you must remember, it's not we that are in fear. They are more fearful than us. So they are fearful for every ordinary civilian that is around them. So anyway, we get back to Amman, and we have to seek accommodation to stay the night in Amman, and then decide about our flights. So the evening in Amman, we go to to downtown, which is the old town of Amman. And the incident happened at about 12 o'clock, and this is now after Maghrib at about 7 o'clock. There is a major protest in support of this Jordanian Maher Diab Hussein, who opened fire. So within that few hours, what I need you to understand is that the way they operate in other countries, it doesn't take them days to organize a protest.
Wow.
Within that few hours, the Jordanian citizens organized a major protest where all the roads were closed. I have footage of that. We were part of that protest. Within a few hours, since the incident happened up until 7 o'clock, within that few hours, they had flags printed. They had posted, printed with this Mahir and his, his brave act and so forth. So within a few hours, they organized a protest of like thousands and thousands of people that close off all the roads, and they have the police support, the Jordanian police, give them support and give them so that it is a peaceful support. It's amazing, amazing at how quickly whereas here in South Africa, if we're going to organize a protest, it takes weeks for us to do the advertising and so forth. So that is something that stood out for me, that the communication ability and the support that they have from the Jordanian people, that within a few short hours of this Mahir becoming a shuhada and the support that he gets and the protest that is arranged, it takes like literally 2-3 hours and this thing is flowing and going on.
Subhanallah. Let's go for our first ad break. And I think there's just so much more I'd like to hear you sharing with us on air this morning. Very especially since the December holidays are literally around the corner, 3 months away, so to speak.
Yes.
And a lot of people we know will be going for Umrah.
Inshallah.
And inshallah will also try to, try to make this a 3 haram tour. So let's hope and pray that it's going to work out for them. But you can obviously share your very personal account of this trip, and we so look forward to more information from you. But do stand by.
Inshallah.
Join. Humanity sets the agenda.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
After the recent attacks on Gaza, many families have been displaced with their homes left destroyed. Through your donations, our teams are on the ground in Gaza, providing support and delivering necessary aid to families affected. The people of Gaza need your help. Give hope. Donate today to Penny Appeal South Africa. www.pennyappeal.org.za 031 1100 573.
We are here on the ground with many appeal organizations in Gaza.
As I talk, bring me in.
day by day.
It's quite unfortunate. There's a lot of talent in South Africa, but we find that a lot of people are scared of entering it, or they see it as somebody else's job. It's not only a decision to make, to leave your job and craft, to leave your business. The enter policy is a vacuum. We complain when we get people we think we deserve. However, are we willing to take a leap and take those decisions? I think the only thing that happened is that housing was an opportunity for me to campaign towards the federal in April. It's something I've been thinking a while. It's not an overnight decision that's about after my outing. I think what my did is it provided an opportunity for me to get through with the start of the campaign, ready for the count.
The former Johannesburg Mayor, Dr. Mpopalatsi.
This is Salam Media. Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. It's exactly 8:22 a.m. We're talking to director, playwright, novelist, talk show host, and community activist. And that, of course, is you, Zakira Bhika. She's here to share the controversial Al-Aqsa tour that she embarked on with her family. Welcome back, Zakira, and over to you.
Okay, so Julie, so now it's after that protest that went on for a couple of hours, now it's Monday, the 9th of September. The borders are closed indefinitely. So now it's up to us. We have to now decide whether we come back to South Africa or we stay there in Amman. So we're making plans to get back to South Africa, and our agent says that the Sheikh Hussein border, which is now 2 hours away from Amman, has just been opened. So literally in 5 minutes, we stack our bags, we get into our agent's car, and we go to the Sheikh Hussein border. And we get there at about 2 o'clock. This border closes at 6 o'clock. So we get there. We literally the only foreigners at the border. We literally the only foreigners at the border because now of this incident that had transpired on Sunday. We get there, and then the harassment starts. They take you in. You cross the first Jordan border, and there's a little wait, and then you go into the Israeli side, Israeli border, and then there's a lot of harassment that goes on. They ask you questions. Here in South Africa, they tell you, stop posting. They keeping checks of your accounts, and they know what you're doing and so forth. That is absolutely true. When you get to the passport control at the Israeli border, they take your passports, they check your passports, they ask you questions. You sit there, they ask you one question, they leave you. It's like total torture that happens in camps, or I would say, where they break you down mentally. They ask you questions, they leave you for an hour. They call you back, they ask you a few questions, they leave you for an hour. They come to you, they ask you, can we offer you espresso? They go away, they leave you for an hour. My husband and I they were a bit easy on us. My 2 kids, who are both attorneys, they interrogated them so thoroughly. They knew everything that happened in their lives. They knew the court cases they fought in court. They knew about the protest that my kids partook here in South Africa. They interrogate you. They tell you there's a telephone there against the wall. It's going to ring now. You have to answer that phone. So my son goes first. He answers it. They ask him a question. They tell him, were you part of any protest? So he says, yes, I was. I was part of the Fees Must Fall protest. They give him the exact date that he was part of a Palestinian protest here in South Africa. They said, should I jog your memory? On this date in this month, were you part of a protest? Should I jog your memory? So yes, right up to that day, time, month, where, what you wore, who were you with. There was a big ANC protest for Palestine that my son and I partook, and a picture appeared in the Lodium Sun. They knew exactly about that picture. When you go there, they ask you for your email address. So obviously in the 6 hours or 8 hours that they interrogate you, they obviously going through your accounts, through your email address. So when they
Did you
tell you,
feel did you feel very, very daunted by the experience, and were you worried about the safety of your children? You've just indicated they both attorneys, and apart from the psychological trauma that they subjected you to and your children, was there any physical threats or shoving around, pushing around, and any other such threats made towards you and your children?
not at the border. So after about 6 to 7 hours, even though the border was now closed, we were still in there. And they have your passports; they don't give your passports, and they don't have any communication with you. There isn't a single person you can say, okay, give me my passports, I want to return. There's no communication. All communication is cut off, and they've got your passports, and you're sitting there and you're waiting. And then they'll come and they'll offer you, they'll give you chocolate. They'll say, and they'll tell you it's halal, you can eat it. So, that kind of mental interrogation and they just want to break you down. Then about, the border closes at 6 o'clock, but they kept us from 2 o'clock right up until 8 o'clock there. And then they tell you you can go. And then you go. And then you get into now Palestine, and you go to your hotel, and obviously it's now 10 o'clock and so forth. You're hungry, you haven't eaten, you haven't slept, you're in this foreign country, and you're now already mentally and emotionally broken down. So the next day, that was now the Tuesday, we try now to get into the masjid. There's several gates. There's about 8 or 10 gates. This is now in the old city where we stayed. The old city is broken into Jewish quarters, Christian quarters, and Muslim quarters. And then we stayed in the Christian quarters, but initially, before this war that took place, everything was very harmonious. That's according to now the locals that told us. Everything was very harmonious. But since the war, they all live in this fear, and you only see sadness. You just see sadness and mental fatigue and brokenness. Like, people are really, really broken, and that's the message I want to get out to South Africans. And that's what they asked us, they begged us, they said, you know what, South Africans are a very, very giving nationality. We are very giving people, and they say they depend on us. When we come there, they support us in their hotels, in their restaurants, in their shops. We are a very generous people, and we give and we give and we support them. And if the South Africans don't come, they are not only losing financially, but it gives the Israelis a higher a note on us that we are afraid. That is what we are not coming. That is why we are not coming. And they need us to come to show solidarity, that we are not afraid, that we stand with the Palestinians, no matter how difficult it is. We stand with the Palestinians, and we will come and show our presence there. We will come and show our brotherhood there, despite all that they do. So once
So,
we get...
Zakira,
go
what
on.
I do need to ask you very quickly, I think we've got about 5 minutes left for the interview. Even though that border was closed, did the Israelis allow you to go through? Obviously, they did.
Yes.
And number two, the rest of your trip, was it what you expected it to be, or were you being harassed even whilst you were in Jerusalem and wanting to get access to Al-Aqsa?
So that's what I want to get to now quickly. Also, like we're short of time, they don't allow you to go into Aqsa. If you go to one gate and you want entrance, they ask you for your passport. We tell them we're from Tshwane or we're from Pretoria, and they know exactly that we are now using fake names or whatever. They said, which country? The country. You tell them South Africa. The minute you show, and then they ask for your passport. The minute you show them your passport, they tell you, get back to your country, and arrogantly. And they are so aggressive. They are so, they love, Julie, the thing is, they are living in more fear than we are. You walk, even while you are, and because we were in Aqsa at this moment when this incident happened, the security had been heightened tenfold. The soldiers had a personal police detail that were protecting the soldiers. So there was police protecting the soldiers during the time that we were there. So at
How
any
ironic.
time, yes, that's just it. And let me tell you, it's the women are worse than the women soldiers are worse than the men. They are beautiful women. They are all glammed up, all makeup with the nice nails, the eyelashes, the hair, everything. But they are far worse than the men, than the male soldiers. It is so such an ugly thing to say, but that's how it is. While you're doing shopping, while you're walking down the street, and it happened on particularly every day, they caught my son, put him against the wall, ask him to put his hands up. They frisk him, tell him turn around, search his pockets, he must empty everything. They have little iPads that they carry around. They input our passport numbers. They on the phone, and they're waiting for a report if we are okay. After like 15, 20 minutes, they allow you to go. And then at one incident, they asked my son, they said, why are you shaking? So my daughter told them, look at you. You are dressed. You got four guns in your pocket. You got one sniper in your hand. There's 6 of you. There's 4 of us. How do you expect us to react? Aren't we supposed to shake?
How did they respond to that?
They giggled. They laugh at you. They laugh at you, you know. So that was, I don't think security is that bad all the time. I think it was just because of this incident. For the first 3 days after we reached Aqsa, we literally, there was no other tourist. We were literally alone. And then from Thursday onwards, a lot of UK Muslims started coming, and a lot of outside tourists also, foreigners from other countries, non-Muslims, started attending. But from the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that we were there, Jerusalem was literally empty, completely empty. And before I end, Julie, I just need to tell the Muslims that, you know what, everybody, that if you have the means, if you are doing Makkah and Medina, please, despite all the harassment, despite everything that they are trying to do and trying to make it so difficult for us, please, it's a special, and this is not my message, it's a message from the Palestinians that we've heard. Please try and show your brotherhood, try and show your support for us. Come here, even if it means buying a packet of gums. It is there, Rosie. A lot of shops had to close, a lot of shops, because there's no tourism. A lot of Muslims were bought out. We met a man, we ate in his restaurant. They paid him, they wanted to pay him $12 million for a 20 square meter shop.
But he refused.
He refused. He said he will not sell his soul. If there's males that are unable to now, maintain their families, that have shops and have to go out, other areas to look for jobs, they actually control your electricity meter. If they see that your electricity meter is not running, they know that there's nobody staying in the house. So then they will come and take the property and give it to Israeli settlers.
Okay. We're going to have to leave it there. Fascinating. I wish I could talk to you some more, but just very, very quickly, as a matter of interest, did you bump into Abir Zayad, and did you eventually get into the Al-Aqsa Mosque?
We got into the Al-Aqsa Mosque plenty times, but not after a complete harassment. Like I said, there's about 8 or 10 gates to enter the Al-Aqsa Mosque from the compound, from the residency side. You go to one gate, they chase you away, and they literally tell you, go back to South Africa, go back to your country. We go to another gate, they'll turn you away. You'll go through 5 gates. You'll miss your salah, and then eventually you'll get into the compound, the Masjid Al-Aqsa. You'll get in, but after walking kilometers and kilometers and going through, and when you go there, your spirits are so down. But then you go there and you pray to Allah, and like they said, everything in Aqsa is 1,000-fold accepted. So you pray to Allah and you say, Allah, to help these people, because if it is so hard for us ordinary civilians, imagine the people that are in Gaza, in West Bank, in the war-torn areas. If these people are finding it so hard, if we as visitors see these soldiers and we are grown adults and we are afraid, imagine the children that are looking at them day in and day out in Gaza.
Sure. I can't even begin to imagine. Zakira, thank you indeed for sharing that very personal experience of yours. Recently to Al-Aqsa, you went on the 3 Haram tour. And I'm sure if you were given the opportunity to do it all over again, knowing what you had subjected yourself and your family to, you would still go ahead, would you not?
I will definitely, and that's what I'm trying to reiterate to the entire Ummah here in South Africa. Please, despite all the difficulties, go out there and show your support. Inshallah, if you get the
Inshallah. I mean, thank you indeed for talking to us. Keep us in your du'as, and till the next time, Assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was the lovely Zakira Bhika, director, playwright, novelist, talk show host, and community activist, talking about her controversial Al-Aqsa journey. Fascinating indeed, frightening, and also traumatic to hear what she and her family were put through. And like she so succinctly puts it, that as a tourist, if she was harassed to this degree, she can't even begin to imagine what the Palestinians are going through on a daily basis, let alone in Jerusalem. What's happening in Gaza and other parts of Palestine, as far as I'm concerned, is totally unimaginable. It is exactly 8:39 News and Views on Salam Media. We'll go for a quick ad break, and hopefully our next guest will be online to talk with us. And she is, of course, Professor Mary Metcalf. She's an educational expert, and we're going to be looking at the Bella Bill.